Hello, welcome to an educational moment. I'm your host, Dr. Pat Dingle. Today, I will be talking to you about the importance of writing. An educational moment has a mission of bringing information to the community for the purpose of helping every young person and also adults, especially low-income and underrepresented minorities, gain information which will help them become more successful academically. The segment today is entitled, Writing is Important to Every Student. Oftentimes, I am sure that students underestimate the importance of writing in their academic program. Just because a course is not a language and reading arts course, or just because the course is not a composition or writing course, does not mean that writing is not important to that particular course. To the contrary, every single course which a student takes is important and normally involves writing and reading, particularly writing as a way of assessing the learning of each student. For this reason, I am including information on writing tonight. If we could go to the first slide. There are several steps that we need to go through during the writing process. I am not going to go through the entire writing process. However, I would like to emphasize some specific areas. For example, normally to begin your project, a writing assignment, you want to conduct research. You want to go to various resources or references and gain information. Oftentimes, it is preferable to use articles as opposed to books because the articles are more recent or more current. You will use books, and you also can use primary documentation. For example, you could interview someone. You also need to be able to accurately record or document your information. This means that in addition to reading the materials, you need to write down where did you get the information, what page number, the title of the book, or the title of the chapter. It's very, very important, including the decimal numbers, say the Dewey Decimal Number or the Library of Congress number for the information. This is very important, particularly since you may need to retrieve the information. Also, you will need to record this information because somebody may want to use your paper as a starting point for something of their own. They may also go back and check on you. So the documentation, accurate documentation of information is very important. After you gain your information, you should make sure that you organize the information. Certain topics will keep coming up to the forefront, or you may become very interested in a particular topic. After you organize your information, you may begin the process of pre-writing. I really discourage people from trying to write a paper all in one step. You want to organize information and pre-write, which means that there are going to be several drafts of your paper. I spent a number of years on the university level teaching education classes. Also, I have been in the field of education for over 25 years. I can tell you this about papers. The difference in the grades of the papers normally go back to how long the student has spent on the paper. The more drafts of the paper that are done, normally the paper is better, therefore the grade or the academic assessment is higher. In other words, in my experience, the difference between an A and B paper is the amount of time spent on the paper so that everything is clarified in the paper so that the person makes a better point. And each time you do a draft to correct and improve your paper means that you are moving your paper on to a higher level or a higher level of achievement. I would like to go now to the next slide. I would like to discuss clarity. Oftentimes, your writing can be improved by simply being clear. And I have a slide up at this moment, and you will notice that I have several things mentioned. Again, it is important to be clear about what you say. You can improve your clarity by choosing the best word. You don't want to bore the reader to death, and you don't want to bore the reader to death, and you can help your paper be more interesting and more clear by choosing the best word. What do you really mean? Try to eliminate vague words or words which can mean multiple things. Another way to improve your writing and to improve clarity is to eliminate all unnecessary words. Oftentimes, novices or beginning students use many ways of trying to elaborate or make their work more flowery. So they use a lot of very, very, very's and absolutely, and basically many words are used which add very little to the writing. So eliminate unnecessary words, no matter what kind of words they are. If we go to the next slide, we will talk about how you can improve your writing through corrections. You should ensure that you have edited your paper to include your spelling corrections, to include your grammatical corrections, to include your capitalization corrections, to include your punctuation corrections. So in other words, you need to make sure you read and reread your paper so that all of your spelling is correct, all of your grammar is correct, all of your capitalization is correct, and all of your punctuation is correct. Please understand that sometimes there are multiple spellings of a word. I have found this in the dictionary when one of my friends and I disagreed on the spelling of a word. I actually found that the word could be spelled two ways. You need to make sure that you are grammatically correct. You need to make sure that your subject and verb agree. I am, he is, she is, they are. This is one of the biggest errors that I find in writing, is that the subject and verb do not agree.